Hi guys, my name is Anya, and the majority of the videos that I do on this channel are fashion related or travel related, but I also decided to add a little bit of lifestyle into the videos. So I thought, why not to add such video as how I deal with my aerophobia, because I do deal with it right now, and tell you a little bit about how it all happened and what I used to feel a lot more calm. And also, I think it might be interesting for you because I actually am like a express aerophobe, because I actually got my aerophobia 6 months ago. It was in spring 2025, and now when I filmed this video it's October of 2025, so I might say from the very triggered aerophobia that I've got the first time to the flights that I have right now, I am definitely a totally different person and I feel a lot more secure. So maybe some of my tips or tricks that I have will actually help you to overcome your aerophobia. Tell me in the comments down below why you're here in this video. Do you have aerophobia? Do you want to conquer it? Or maybe you love to travel, you love to fly, and you're just interested how people are getting aerophobia and what are we all talking about. So first things first that I know is that as soon as I got aerophobia, I literally jumped into understanding what is aerophobia, what it's like, why it happens, and what to do with it. So I literally read so many articles and I saw so many videos of other people dealing with aerophobia that I really feel like I do now have a certain experience. I will tell you a little disclaimer is that if you're so scared of flying that you cannot even go on the airplane, or you cannot even book a ticket or even think about going somewhere on the airplane, definitely just go to the therapist. There's no other way to do that, because I think my tips are mostly for the people who feel anxious on the flight but actually do consider flying in their life and they love traveling and they do not think that the only transport that they can use is the ground one. So if you feel like you are always finding alternatives to how you can reach a certain place, I would still say just go to the therapist, because it's the best decision for you to at least try and make an effort to go and fly the airplane, because otherwise I think you will be so scared you will not even be able to book a ticket. Anyways, what I can say about aerophobia and what I found out is that actually aerophobia is not real phobia. But let me tell you something. The airplane, and when you're on an airplane, it triggers your other fears. So basically the aerophobia is just the symptom of some of your other phobias that you have. For some people it might be some physical phobias like the fear of heights, or it might be the claustrophobia. For some people it might be some mental issues like trust issues, hello, some fear of losing control, hello, and might be for some people also the fear of unexpected things. If you love to live with a plan, everything should go as planned, and it gives you the stress if something happens accidentally and it's out of your plan. For you, flying might also be stressing, because obviously sometimes certain things happen and pilots do unexpected things. Also, I heard that sometimes people just do not understand how the airplane can fly because they have no idea about any technical stuff. They do not know how it's constructed and how it works and what are the sounds stand for what. Basically, anytime that you step on the airplane, some of your fears, some other fears, as I said, are getting triggered and you just feel like you're insecure in this place. But those are the fears that you also might have when you're just standing on the ground, and if you're calm, they're just not showing themselves. So what I will say, first things first, that I do definitely have a fear of losing control. I'm kind of like a control freak, not in the ultimate level, but I definitely love to have some control over my life. I definitely try to get rid of it, or just at least make it a little, calmer. And also I do have some trust issues. So basically I do not trust other people in my life when I at the same time do not have any control. So basically it's like if you're driving me in a car, I feel a lot more secure, even though sometimes I might be thinking that some drivers are crazy, but it's not as much as when I am on an airplane, because obviously I cannot do anything when I'm flying because I do not have any experience or knowledge how to rule an airplane, or how you call it. So basically this is what I have the majority of the time. It's just that I try to control as much as I can. I do not have any problems with technical stuff. I'm not fearful of the construction of the airplane or any noises, mostly because I kind of don't care about it, I guess. It's just like it works and it works. I don't know how the car works in the complex understanding of it. So it's the same for me as for the airplane. And also I would say when I'm flying and if I'm anxious on the airplane, if you will start talking to me about technical stuff, about saying like it's safe, it's a complex machine, everything is thought about, there are multiple different sensors and stuff, that will not help me, because literally I'm not a technical person. So if you feel like your problem is the technical question, I think you should watch some other videos because this is definitely not something that I have any knowledge of. The only thing that I know is that sometimes it might help you if you have any like checklists, like what a certain sound stands for example, or like what the pilots do on the certain time of the flight. So basically there are some apps. I'm not such a person, so I don't think that I can help you with that, but I know that this might be some sort of a problem with that. How it actually happened to me, let me tell you how my aerophobia really kicked in. Before I was around 25 years old, I was a pretty calm traveler. I literally didn't care about traveling. I think it's like the young mind, you just really don't care, because if you look at the kids really don't care about the turbulence or how it all works. They just sit in the airplane, they talk about all their kids stuff, they just play and wait until they land. And then when I was around 25 years old, I think I got to be a little more anxious, maybe because I just grew up a bit. I was not really trusting more the world, you know, and I think I was just like trying to check what the airplane is doing. For example, basically, it wouldn't be a certain fear, like an animal fear, you know, when you're just having this physical fear and you don't know what to do, you don't have any control over your brain. I was just a little anxious about flying, and for example, if we would have any turbulence situations, if I would sit on a window seat, I would literally just stare out of the window trying to understand why we are in a turbulence. So basically, like, are we in the clouds or are we above the mountains? What is the reason why we are in the turbulence and why we are shaking so much? Whether in fact you shouldn't think about that because the pilots are sitting there and doing this. So how it happened? I think the first thing I would say, in spring I had 2 trips packed in 1 month. I literally had maybe like 2 weeks in between the flights, and I was still a bit like anxious and nervous, mostly because I thought how I would feel about that, because usually flights are making me feel so tired, because I also stress out about not forget anything and how to be on time, and do I even get through the customs? So basically all these other questions. So I was a little bit stressed out about those 2 trips going literally one after another. But then the trip was normal and I had a flight back from Baku to Istanbul, and this is when I got my fear. So I would say if you go to Baku, you should be more scared than going back from there, because it's a very windy city and you have a lot of wind going on there. But because I was landing, it was around 2 a.m. I think. I was so tired, I was sleepy, I didn't see anything out of the window because it was like pitch black. So I think that's why I didn't really think about why we are like waving on the wind, because it mostly felt like a lullaby to me. I was like so tired, and the landing was fine even though I knew that we were shaking. But on the way back, I actually sit on the emergency exit row, and that was my first a little anxious moment, because I kind of felt responsible and I didn't want to feel responsible, definitely. So I was thinking throughout the flight a few times, like, I hope we're not gonna use this emergency exit that I'm responsible for. So I think it got me a little anxious in the beginning, but then the majority of the problems actually were caused by landing. So when you go to Istanbul, when you go to any airport actually, you have this landing line, like a straight landing line before the runway. So basically it's when the altitude of the airplane is like pretty low already. I think it's around like a kilometer above the ground, and they just go on the path of landing, and at the end they are landing on the runway. This landing line in Istanbul is going all the way along the Bosphorus. So it's a very, very long line. You can see it on the map. All the airplanes are basically going towards the airport through this line. They're just, you know, going on a different paths because there are different runways there. And so basically this line is pretty long. I would say it's like a 25-minute flight there. During this time, you actually fly above the city, of course, a very busy city. You fly near the hills as well, and you also have the Black Sea in front of you. You have the Bosphorus on the right of you. So basically there is a bunch of different things and causes of different airflows, and some wind is blowing, obviously. You can get into the air pocket as well. So there's a bunch of things going on, especially for the anxious person. And I would say my biggest mistake was to look out of the window, because when you're on such low altitude, you can see the landscape very close to yourself, especially if there's any hills or anything. When you see out of the window how the wing is moving, and you are moving with the airplane, so obviously you kind of feel all the little angles. So when you look out in the window on the wing and you see the landscape on the background, for your brain it looks like you are getting blown away by the wind. You're gonna meet with those hills very, very soon, and then the angle of your wing is going up and down like 30 degrees or something. Because I've been having it for 25 minutes of flying, I was obviously so scared. I didn't still have this fear, like an animal fear. It was still more of an anxiety, I would say. I felt such a relief when I saw the runway, because I thought I'm gonna get out of this airplane and everything will be good. And I will tell you, if we would land this time time, when I saw the runway, I think my aerophobia would still not kick in the way that it did, because I would still feel anxious, but it wouldn't be a proper fear. However, as you can understand, we did not land. When I saw the runway, I was thinking, why are we not landing? Because we went really far into the runway, but we still didn't touch the ground. And at this moment, when I feel like something is off, I hear the engines go stronger and stronger. The pilot decided to go round. Yes, that was the moment when everything actually happened. Not even because it was unexpected, partly because it was unexpected. Obviously, a few seconds you think about, is something going on? Is something with the plane? Is something with the airport? Is something going on with the pilots? Are we hijacked? But then you think, of course not, because obviously the airplane just goes around. At this moment, I don't know what condition I was in, but I actually filmed the moment that we were going around, and I have it in my Baku vlog right at the end there. I have this moment. I don't know why. Maybe I just found this moment a little beautiful in terms of like the land, and also maybe I thought that this is the first time I go around, why not film it? But at the same time, obviously I was like extremely scared by this time. I just tried to distract myself, and my weird brain at this moment was fearful more of not going round, but actually of getting on the straight landing line again and shaking for another 25 minutes, because I thought I will be anxious again and again. And this is actually what happened. We were flying on this landing line again, and I was literally pressed into the seat again. And finally on the second row, we landed beautifully. Everything was good. Literally, for a normal flyer, that would be nothing to worry about. And to be honest, let me tell you, if you're fearful of that and you feel like you would gonna die if this happens to you, going around is actually a very safe moment. You should be really kind of happy that you did it. It's a very good sign that your pilots are responsible and that they have checked everything that they need to check before landing, and they found out that something was not perfect enough to land right now. And instead of landing at all costs, they decided to take another round to perform to you the best landing possible, the most safe landing. So going around is actually a good sign. Don't be scared. However, obviously, in the moment you feel like something is wrong. And right now, thinking about that, I think that if that wouldn't happen on this flight, as I said, my aerophobia would kick in at the different other moments. Maybe one flight later, or maybe in 10 years, or maybe earlier than that, but it would kick in because I didn't really control my fear of losing control, and I was letting my brain to get scared if something unexpected happened or if something was happening beyond my control. This is how it happened, the whole story. Needless to say, I had another flight there because it was my connecting flight, and I flew from Istanbul to Belgrade. It is the easiest flight ever because you literally fly above the field and there's nothing to cause you any turbulence. It's a very calm flight. But I was so scared at this moment that I literally felt like I was looking through wide-angle lens through my eyes, because when we were taking off and we were getting the altitude, I thought, why would the pilot go so high in the sky? Because I felt like we were in a stratosphere. Literally, it felt like 25,000 meters, so away the ground was. But now, as I said, I do have some tricks that I use to feel a lot more secure on the flight and try to disconnect from everything that is happening. So let me tell you what helps me the most. So the first tip is coming from basically the philosophy of the people who love flying, is that not thinking about the flight. You should distract yourself. Do whatever you can to not think about the flying. So basically you can sleep, and let me tell you, after all these months of flying, I actually can sleep on the airplane again, which is a huge step for me, to be honest. But the majority of the time I just try to distract myself. I always make sure that I have any type of movie or series to watch. I can also think about having a book. If you love to read, I think it might be helpful for you. And also occupy your hands. This is the best thing that you can do if you love to do something with your hands. You can do sketches, or you can draw or color. You can do some, I don't know, brain games or something like that. You can do knitting if you love knitting. You can do some homework if you're studying. For example, I study Turkish language right now, and on one of the flights I was literally doing my homework. So you can write down something, or as I said, just do something with your hands and your brain. Just occupy yourself as much as possible. So distracting yourself is the best way possible to feel a lot more secure. That's number one. Number two is something that helps me in two ways. The first way is a literal psychological way, because when you're anxious about something, try to connect to your body again. So basically touch something with your hands or whatever, your body. Touch something smooth or something textured, something cold or something hot. Try to make your body feel something again. And one of the ways to also do this is to always have something in your hands to just play with it. And I have actually crystals. You might believe in crystals and emotions and energy and how it's all connected, or you might not believe in it. That's totally fine. But in the psychological way, basically it's something that distracts my mind from my thoughts and overreacting. One of the ways that I use them, put them in my hands like that, and I always remember that I have them in my hands, because obviously I don't want to lose them, I don't want to drop them. You need to have this strength in your hands to keep them inside of your palms. You can basically put in your hands whatever you want, whatever, okay? It might be a hair tie, a pack of gum, your earbuds, whatever. Just take something in your hands and just have it. And the other thing that I do is I actually play with them. This is a very meditative thing to do. This is very good for your hands as well, like you're training your hands. This is very good. And also I do a little challenge, because they make some sounds what they touch. So I try not to disturb other people by playing with them the way that I do not drop them, but also that they do not make any sounds. So this is kind of cool. It's a little bit hard to do, obviously, because you're really scared to drop them, but at some point it starts to work out. But also, if you do believe in crystals, I will tell you what I have. I have amethyst here. This is the amethyst, just a little egg-shaped. And this is called labradorite, I think. It's a very beautiful one. It looks like a peacock's tail, actually, to me. I don't know. And they actually work together very nicely, because both of them are working with negative energy and negative thoughts and anxiety. If I feel too anxious and I don't want to, I just tell them, yes, this is how crazy it sounds. I just tell them, you have my anxiety. You are the ones who are responsible for that. And this is actually something that you can do. It's a psychological practice as well. You can say it to a hair tie, a pack of gum, your earbuds or something. Just basically release your negative energy. Don't get it stuck inside. Don't really overthink the situation. Just let yourself say, like, this hair tie has my negative energy. Your brain release the negative energy, your anxiety, your stress. I do this with crystals. It's kind of cool, but you can do this, as I said, with anything else. That's the thing number 2. I really love this, because every time it's just, you know, it also distracts you, and it kind of makes you believe that you could just get rid of your negative thoughts. So what else I experience sometimes on the flights is the lack of air. So sometimes I feel like my blood pressure goes a little high and I just don't have enough air. I obviously intuitively start breathing. I open the deflector, the individual airflow that you have above your head. I open it to the point where it's not like blowing in my face strongly, but it kind of is a light flow of air, of like oxygen, but I feel like, you know, there's something to breathe in. And then I start counting and breathing. I think this is something that you can also ask your therapist about. This is a proper psychological way and physical way, actually, of dropping your blood pressure as well as calming yourself down. When you breathe in to 4 counts and you breathe out to 8 counts, it kind of reboots your brain and your body at the same time. It really lowers down your blood pressure. Like, that's for real. That's a physical thing. Even on the ground, if you feel like you have a high blood pressure or you feel like your heartbeat is kind of stronger than usual, start the same breathing. It concentrates you on your breathing and also on this routine counting. So when you count so slowly, like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you're counting to 8 as well, and then you try to synchronize your breathing in and breathing out to those countings, it basically makes your brain concentrate on how you breathe and how you count, instead of concentrating on anything that goes on outside of your body, basically. Sometimes you will breathe out on 7 counts or breathe in a little faster. That's also okay, but you kind of need to try and synchronize it to count. And I remember that I don't know what was going on. I don't remember if there was any turbulence at this moment or what I was doing. Was it like drinking something or not? I just remember myself counting and breathing. It distracts your brain very well. And so the last thing is a heavy duty practice to do when you just feel so stressed out and fearful that you do not even control your brain. You cannot calm down by breathing. You cannot calm down by watching the movie or something like that, you just feel like a caged animal. You don't know what's going on, you don't have any control, you're just looking around and you're so scared, you don't know what to do next. You can also say about this practice to your partner or to somebody who you are flying with the majority of the times to kind of remind you to do this practice when you are so scared. This is called 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 practice, and this is a great thing to distract yourself completely, because it's not only you're getting some information, you know, or you're just thinking about something, it's actually the way for your brain to start finding answers. And this is a proper goal for your brain to distract from anything else, because you are just concentrated on finding answers. Originally, this practice is you need to name 5 things that you see around yourself, 4 sounds that you hear, 3 smells or tastes that you feel at the moment, 2 feelings in your body, and 1 thing that you're grateful for right now. I know that when you're anxious, it's not that you can remember it. You can obviously put it in the notes if you forget, but also what I like to do for myself, giving myself a challenge to name all the different things every single time. So basically, instead of remembering 5 things I need to name that I see, try, for example, 5 colors that I see, or 4 feelings in my body. For example, let your partner pinch you. You'll say, I feel the pinch, I feel how I touch something, I feel how I breathe and everything. So basically give yourself anything to name under those counts. So it shouldn't be just all in order, just name whatever you want. And by the time that you are saying this one thing that you're grateful for right now, believe me, you will be so much distracted by finding all the answers that you will definitely feel a lot more secure, because you will get the brain control again. It's not the fear that is controlling your feelings. It is you who controls your brain, your feelings. You still feel your body again. This is very, very important. As I said, it's a heavy duty thing. Accidentally so fearful, so scared, so stressed out, you cannot even calm down, you cannot drink, you cannot eat, you just feel like you are in danger. When you feel it, just remember about this practice, because it's such a helpful one. You can read about this, it helps every time. And even if you're anxious on the ground, as I said, it can also help you out so much to just reunite with your body, reunite with your brain. So those are the tips that I use every time that I fly, and to be honest, that helped me out so much. From how I flew my first flight after I got this aerophobia to the flights that I had like previously when I had a trip for my birthday, it's totally different. And to be honest, I was like so, I don't know, secure with myself that I even went paragliding. Okay, I couldn't believe that I could experience paragliding being aerophobic. So I kind of consider my tricks to work for me, as I can really step out to my fear, conquer it, and do something else. Because I think that my fear of losing opportunities is a lot bigger than my fear of flying. So I just didn't want to miss this experience. I still think that it helps a lot to just be prepared for the flight beforehand, to feel a little bit more secure, knowing that there are things that can help you. If you feel anything, tell me in the comments if you have known about any of the tips. Have you figured out the reasons of your aerophobia? Really wish you overcome your aerophobia as fast as possible, because traveling is one of the most amazing things in life. And I hope that video was helpful. Subscribe to my channel if you like some styling things, if you like some lifestyle videos as well. And I hopefully will see you guys in my next video. Bye!